Good morning, dear students. Welcome to this special paper of TYBA English. In this special paper 4 prescribed for you, in this paper we are supposed to study T.S. Eliot and his theory or his concept of tradition. So T.S. Eliot is born in 1888 and died in 1965. So T.S. Eliot is one of the most dominating personality or figure in the realm of literature and criticism of 20th century. So he has contributed a lot both as a poet and a critic. So this essay, Tradition and Individual Talent, it was first published in year 1919. It was first published in year 1919. The present essay, Tradition and Individual Talents, contains 3 parts, or we can divide it into 3 things or 3 components. The first part of the essay or first segment of the essay is about T.S. Eliot's concept of tradition. Second segment of the essay deals with his theory of impersonality, and the third is a sort of conclusion. So tradition and individual talent is one of the most important critical work by T.S. Eliot, and in this essay he tried to define or analyze the concept called tradition. So we are going to explore, we are going to learn what are the thoughts of T.S. Eliot about the concept called tradition. So here T.S. Eliot talks about the significance of tradition. In this essay, he tries to explore what is the significance or relevance of tradition in criticism as well as in literary work. So the word tradition is used by T.S. Eliot in a wider sense. So tradition here does not mean only the literary tradition, but it also includes historical, political, cultural, economic and ideological tradition. So it is a wider term, it is used in the wider sense. So it is not only limited, it is not only restricted to the world of literature. So here the term tradition is used in the sense of it refers to historical, it refers to cultural, it refers to social, it refers to political, and it refers to ideology of literature. So that is why the tradition is wider concept, that is why tradition is broader. It is not restricted only to the realm of literature or criticism, it comprises other aspects also. So the word tradition is generally regarded as a term of censor. The English does not like the word tradition. For them it is a word which should not be accepted, which should not be considered as good in literature and criticism. But here, when the English praise the writer of the poet for his literature, for his literary piece or for his work of art, if they are praying for his individuality and originality, it means that they are not appreciating, they are not praising the writer for his originality and individuality, but on the contrary, it is a praise of the writer for his adherence to the tradition, for his importance given to tradition. So T.S. Eliot stands here against the writers who gave importance to individuality and originality. This undue stress on individuality and originality is not important according to T.S. Eliot. So This praise of writers for individuality and originality is a wrong one, and the most individual part of poet's work is that which shows the maximum influence of the past. So there should be the maximum influence of the past generations or the past writers while depicting the literature or while creating work of art. After that, in this essay, T.S. Eliot also tried to explore how one can obtain the tradition. So according to T.S. Eliot, tradition cannot be inherited. Tradition is a thing that can be obtained only by hard labor, and it is a labor of knowing the past writers or the writers of the previous generation. So tradition is a thing which cannot be inherited. Tradition is a thing which cannot be which can be only obtained by hard labor, and this hard labor is a labor of knowing the writers, their literary work of the past or the previous generations. So it is the labor of knowing the past writers. It is the labor of shifting good from bad, and it is also labor of knowing what is good and what is useful. So in order to obtain a tradition, T.S. Eliot advises the critics and the writers to follow the past writers, to follow the writers of the previous generation. We should know their work. We should also consider what is the utility value of those writers, and only what is useful that should be obtained. So this is a labor of knowing the past writers. This is a labor of shifting good from the bad, and this is also labor of focusing on what is relevant and what is important from the past writers or the previous generations. After that, in the present essay, T.S. Eliot also talked about the historical sense. So historical sense involves not only the pastness of the past but also of its presence. So T.S. Eliot here tried to explain what is historical sense. According to T.S. Eliot, historical sense involves not only knowing the pastness of the past but also its presence. It means that the literary tradition always exists. It is a continuous. So past writers or the writers from the previous generations are going to affect or influence the writers of the present. And further he added that past directs and guides the present, and the present modifies or reflects the past. So it is a reciprocal relationship between the past and the present. So past directs, past guides the present, and the present throws light upon the past. So historical sense involves knowing the pastness, not only the pastness of the past but also of its presence. The past always exists in present, and the past and the present form simultaneous order. So past and present are together. We cannot separate them. They form a simultaneous order and they always exist. The past is always in existence in the present. The historical sense is the sense of timeless and the temporal as well. It is a timeless. It cannot be restricted to particular period of time. So we cannot say this particular period has utility, this particular period is useful. So it is timeless. We cannot restrict historical sense or the tradition in a time. After that, we get the historical sense here means we have to recognize the continuity of literature, then a critical judgment as to which of the writers of the past continue to be significant in the present. So two things are here important. First is the continuity of the past. Then which writers of the previous generations or the past generations are important and significant in the present time. And the third one is the knowledge of these significant writers, the knowledge of these important writers, the knowledge of this relevant writer in the present time helps us to achieve great and noble work. In order to create something noble, in order to achieve greatness in literature, so knowledge and what is the value of the writers of the past is important. Then the concept of tradition is dynamic. So no writer has its value, worth or significance in isolation. In order to judge the value or the significance or the merit of the writer of the present should be compared with the writers of the past. So this comparison and contrast of the present writers with the past is going to tell us about the value or the significance or worth of the present writer. So in order to compare, the T.S. Eliot suggests that it is not essential that we have to take the whole of the literature. So we can take a lump or we can take a piece of literature of that writer in order to compare the writers of the past. Then the selection of the writers of the past should not be based on our likes and dislikes. We should not select the writer from the past or the previous generation whom we admire in order to compare it with the writers of the present. So the purpose of this analysis, the purpose of this comparison, the purpose of this contrast is to analyze and to understand the value and the significance of the past writers as well as the present writer. So it is not done to determine whether the present literary work is bad or worse than the past one, or the past one is worse or bad than the present one. So comparison is done for understanding of an analysis of the present writer. After that, present and the past, this comparison is one of the most focal point of T.S. Eliot's concept of tradition. So tradition is not fixed. Tradition is dynamic. It is always changing. It is always changing and constantly growing. So the writer from the present must seek guidance from the writers of the past. The past directs and guides the present, and so the present also throws light upon the past. So this is reciprocal relationship between the past and the present. When something really good or original is produced by the writer, so it modifies the entire tradition. So tradition is dynamic, tradition is not static, tradition is not fixed, it is constantly changing, it is constantly growing. So sense of tradition does not mean that we should blindly follow the past writers. It is not blind adherence to the past. We should not stick to the tradition blindly. It will be just mere slavish imitation of the past. If we follow the tradition blindly and without considering the significance or value of that tradition, so T.S. Eliot said that it is just blind, it is just mere slavish imitation of the past, and this will be not productive, it will be just repetition. And T.S. Eliot asserted that repetition is not good. Novelty is always better than repetition. So we must examine critically not only the significant in the writers of the past, and we also try to know the value or worth of the writers in the present also. So poet must judge critically what are the main trends and what are not. The poet must confine himself to the trends, main trends. So poet try to confine himself to the main trends of the past. So poet must realize that the main literary trends are not determined by the great poets alone. So in a particular age, in particular era of literature, there are going to be a main trends of production of literary work. So these main trends are not only created by the main writers alone, but there is also contribution of other writers. And the poet should focus on these writers also. He should not concentrate his attention only on the main writers, but his attention should be on other writers also. So, the mind of Europe may change, but this change does not mean that the great writers like Shakespeare and Homer have grown outdated. So the works of the writers of the past is going to be always important for the writers of the present. The attitude, the taste, likes and dislikes, they are going to be changed, but it is not going to eliminate or lower down the value or the worth of the writers like William Shakespeare and Homer.